The essence of human nature is the constant yearning for connection, the desire to be loved and accepted. Yet life, like a multidimensional mirror, is not solely painted in bright colors. No matter how hard we strive to harmonize with the world, nurturing relationships with utmost sincerity, there will always be hidden corners, places that harbor scrutinizing gazes and silent disdain. Unreachable to us, the feeling of being disliked, like an invisible needle, pierces our self-esteem, leaving us floundering amid doubt and hurt. We question ourselves. Where did I go wrong? What unintentional act caused others to turn their backs? This spiral of insecurity and resentment begins to take shape, pulling us deeper into the darkness of negative emotions. But is there a way to escape this tangled web? Instead of letting ourselves be submerged in chaos, we can seek tranquility within through the philosophy of Stoicism. Like a lighthouse in the vast ocean, Stoicism illuminates the path to inner freedom by teaching us to accept what cannot be changed and focus on what lies within our control. Stoicism does not teach us how to please everyone, as that is an impossible feat. Instead, it guides us toward equanimity, helping us realize that the thoughts and actions of others are beyond our control. What matters is living true to our values and continually strengthening our inner selves. So, what are the reasons we become targets of dislike? Could it be unintentional mistakes or simply differences in perspectives and lifestyles? More importantly, how can we face these situations with calmness and serenity, embodying the steadfast spirit of Stoicism? This video will take you on a journey of self-discovery, delving into the hidden corners of human psychology and, most importantly, finding the path to inner peace. Rising above the storms of resentment and envy. Reason 1. They envy and resent you. Negative emotions like jealousy and envy often arise when someone sees in you the things they desire but feel powerless to attain. Your career success, personal achievements, or even your character and lifestyle may reflect their own shortcomings and unhappiness, things they are reluctant to face. Instead of using your success as inspiration, they sink into comparison and insecurity, transforming these feelings into resentment. Envy and jealousy are like poison one willingly drinks, hoping it will harm others. In reality, these emotions corrode the soul and plunge the one harboring them into a spiral of suffering and self-destruction. When someone nurtures envy, they kindle a smoldering fire within themselves. This fire not only burns away joy but also depletes peace and the capacity to feel happiness. Each time they see you succeed, live joyfully, or achieve something, the flames roar higher, leaving them more wounded. Philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimation of it." They allow comparison to dominate their mind, and this comparison becomes the root of their misery, trapping them in emotional stagnation. When envy burns too long, it can drive people to cruel and selfish acts. To soothe their inner pain, they might gossip, slander, or even sabotage you. You, the target of their envy, it's crucial not to let their negativity affect your peace. Remember Marcus Aurelius' advice: do not let your soul be governed by the soul of another. Instead, stay true to your values, preserve your inner peace, and do not let their actions dim your light. For them, liberation only comes when they realize envy is a double-edged sword that harms both others and themselves. They must shift their focus to self-improvement, transforming their pain into motivation to live a better life. Reason 2. They cannot move past the past. Perhaps you and this person once shared a meaningful relationship. Close friends, former lovers, or simply colleagues working toward a common goal. But life's circumstances led your paths to diverge. Unresolved issues or unhealed wounds may linger, leaving them clinging not just to memories but also to bitterness and a sense of injustice. They may be unable to forgive you, or even themselves, for what transpired. Epictetus said, "We cannot change the past, but we can always choose how we view it." Instead of freeing themselves from old wounds, they cling to them, letting negative emotions haunt and disturb their peace of mind. Every time they think of you, the memories feel like a wound being reopened, sparking outbursts of anger or hateful actions like cruel remarks or spiteful behavior. Seneca taught, "The wise person is not bound by the chains of the past, but lives in the present. Yet for them, the past becomes a burden they cannot release. This hatred transforms into a mental weight that overshadows their ability to enjoy the present. They fail to see that they are imprisoning themselves in the misery of painful memories. Time may heal these feelings, but only if they choose forgiveness. For your part, remember that their hatred is not your burden to bear. All you can do is move forward, keep your heart peaceful, and let time and compassion do their work." Reason 3. They seek to display their power. It's disheartening when some people, rather than seeking strength within themselves to face life, choose to showcase power by inflicting suffering on others. Unfortunately, you may have become the victim of this distorted power play. Humans are inherently driven to seek happiness and avoid pain, but some find a perverse satisfaction in cruelty. For these individuals, hatred is not merely a hidden emotion, but a sharp weapon used to assert themselves and gratify their warped egos. They relish gossiping behind your back, tearing apart the fragments of your dignity. Every venomous word they speak is like the venom of a snake, sinking deep into the soul of their target and leaving painful wounds. For them, cruelty is not just an outlet for anger, but a means to wield power, compensating for their inner emptiness and insecurity. Epictetus observed, "Those who seek power by harming others only reveal their own weakness. Instead of addressing their flaws, they resort to bringing others down to feel superior. But this behavior is akin to drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. They are the first to endure the consequences. They imagine themselves as ferocious lions, preying on vulnerable sheep to satisfy their dark thirst for dominance. To them, you may appear as a helpless lamb, trembling before their fangs. But remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. True strength lies in mastering oneself, not dominating others. Their actions do not demonstrate power, but instead expose a twisted soul consumed by its own deficiencies. For them, cruelty becomes a way to escape internal helplessness, yet the more they indulge in it, the more desensitized and hardened they become. When hatred overcomes a person, they not only harm others but also imprison themselves in a cycle of suffering, turning their hearts into cold, dark sanctuaries for pain and indifference. Reason 4. They crave attention. In a noisy, bustling world, some people yearn for attention and acknowledgement. Silence, for them, is not just emptiness, but a fear of being forgotten, as if swallowed by an infinite void. They seek validation of their existence through words, through others' recognition. When you do not fulfill this need, they may begin to despise you, not because you did anything wrong, but because you didn't give them what they crave most, attention. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if someone harms you, remember they are acting according to their nature. The question is, will you let it harm you? Those who crave attention often don't truly care about you, but rather about how you react to them. Engaging in arguments or explanations only empowers their hold over your emotions. Epictetus taught, what you can control is how you react, not how others behave. When dealing with attention seekers, your calmness and silence are not rejections, but a way to protect your inner peace. They may interpret this as an insult, but in truth you're choosing not to participate in the emotional whirlwind they create. Lastly, remember Seneca's wisdom. Others' hatred does not define you, it reflects their own souls. They may resent you because your silence makes them feel invisible, but that is not your responsibility. Continue living by your values, resisting the temptation to satisfy shallow demands for recognition. Your tranquility amidst the noise is how you preserve yourself and protect your precious inner freedom. Reason 5. First impressions. Seeds of misunderstanding. Did you know that sometimes a mere glance can plant the seeds of hatred? First impressions, fragile as smoke, have the power to shape emotions and judgments. Some people, simply because of an unfavorable initial impression, hastily close the door to their hearts and build walls against you. They fear potential trouble or disappointment and choose to defend themselves from the very first meeting. It's ironic that you may not have done anything wrong, yet still find yourself disliked or shunned. A fleeting glance, a vague feeling, and you're judged, rejected. You become like a book that's being closed before anyone has had the chance to discover its contents, left unread and sidelined. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We are often swept away by our first impressions instead of pausing to consider if they are true." First impressions may be inaccurate, but their influence runs deep. This applies not only to how others see you, but also to how you see them. You may have done the same, judging someone based on a fleeting perception. As Seneca taught, it's not what happens that causes suffering, but how we interpret it. If someone hates you due to a vague first impression, remember that this feeling belongs to them, not you. Don't let yourself be weighed down by baseless judgment. So, as Epictetus advises, do what is right and let others judge as they will. Strive to make a good first impression, not to seek universal acceptance, but to create opportunities for genuine connection. Ultimately, it is your inner values, not first impressions, that are worth discovering. Reason 6. A lack of recognition. Did you know that sometimes people dislike you not because you've done something wrong, but because of their unfulfilled desire for recognition? In the symphony of relationships, everyone wants to be a note that is heard and appreciated. When their efforts and contributions are ignored or forgotten, a sense of resentment creeps into their soul, sowing seeds of bitterness. Imagine dedicating your heart and soul to a project, only to have your efforts go unnoticed, without even a word of acknowledgement. The bitterness and sense of injustice can easily transform goodwill into disappointment and even hatred. This is especially prevalent in competitive environments where everyone yearns to prove themselves. In such contexts, a lack of recognition becomes more than mere oversight. It's a deep wound to one's self-esteem. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Resentment often doesn't stem from the reality of being overlooked, but from how one interprets the indifference of others. While you can't fully control how others feel, you can avoid unintentionally hurting them by being respectful and sincere. Epictetus also advises, remember that negative emotions don't result from circumstances, but from how we choose to react. Acknowledging others' efforts not only helps them feel valued, but also nurtures healthier relationships, avoiding unnecessary negativity. Finally, Seneca noted, respecting others is part of living in harmony with human nature. Remember that everyone around you has a self that craves acknowledgement, whether big or small. Recognition doesn't need to be grandiose praise. It can be as simple as understanding and respecting their efforts. This fosters harmony in relationships and helps you avoid latent animosity that may arise without you even realizing it. Reason 7. Miscommunication. The seeds of misunderstanding. Communication, much like a dance of words and gestures, requires subtlety and mutual understanding. Yet sometimes clumsy steps or mismatched rhythms unintentionally sow the seeds of resentment. A glance, a smile, or even seemingly harmless words can create vastly different impressions, or worse, unfortunate misunderstandings. Some people speak bluntly, their words sharp like a knife striking stone, causing unintended hurt. Others are more tactful, carefully choosing their words, yet they may be misunderstood as insincere or fake. A well-meaning suggestion, if poorly expressed, may be perceived as harsh criticism. A harmless joke, delivered out of context, can turn into a biting insult that wounds deeply. Communication is not just about speaking. It's about carefully weighing your words to avoid causing hurt or misunderstandings. Without this consideration, such missteps can become invisible walls, separating hearts and leading to alienation or even hatred. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Listen more than you speak, for in silence you can understand much more." Listening is not just a skill, but a way to show others that they are respected and understood. By listening sincerely, you can find the right way to express yourself so that your words become a bridge of connection rather than a chasm of separation. Seneca said, "Words are not meant to conquer but to reconcile." Instead of using language as a weapon, view it as a tool for building understanding. Learn to choose your words carefully, convey your messages with empathy, and consider the context. This way, your words will not only reflect truth, but also foster trust. Ultimately, communication is not about dominance or control, but about connection. Let your words be a gentle breeze that fosters understanding, rather than a fire that scorches precious relationships. Reason 8. Dissatisfaction with their own life. Some people, discontented with their own lives, choose to harm others as a way to vent their frustration. They may disrupt your peace, cause annoyance, or make you feel uncomfortable just to pull you down to their level of unhappiness. Unable to find joy in their own lives, they seek to rob you of yours. These actions, whether conscious or unconscious, are echoes of the instability within their souls. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the actions of others belong to them, not to you. Do not let them govern your soul. They may go to great lengths to cause distress, but you have the power to decide how you respond. Do not let their negativity overshadow the peace you deserve. Epictetus also reminded us, when you are offended by someone's actions, remember that it is your perception that gives it power. Instead of becoming angry or being drawn into the whirlpool of negative emotions, see their disruptions as opportunities to practice patience and composure. Seneca wisely observed, "The wise are not dragged down by the misfortunes of others. They create their own light in the darkness. Focus on cultivating your own happiness, regardless of others' attempts to derail it. While you cannot control how others behave, you can master your mind and emotions. Remember, your peace is a precious asset that should not be taken away by the dissatisfaction of others." Reason 9. Differences, roots of conflict, and opportunities for understanding. Each of us is a unique piece in the mosaic of life, carrying our own values and beliefs shaped by personal experiences and environments. When these values intersect, differences are inevitable. These differences, whether as significant as political or religious views, or as trivial as lifestyle choices or daily habits, can become sources of conflict or even resentment, if not approached with understanding. Stubbornness arises when someone sees their own values as the absolute standard, the undeniable truth. They view anyone with differing perspectives as a threat to be eliminated. This mindset builds invisible barriers, turning minor disagreements into reasons for contempt and alienation. Seneca's noted, "We suffer not because of differences, but because of how we perceive them." Rather than seeing differences as opportunities to learn, people often let them become obstacles to connection. Beliefs are like deeply rooted trees within the soul. Any challenge to them can feel like an attack. Such situations can quickly escalate into battles over identity and worldview, where differences transform from mere disagreements into divisive walls. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Remember that what you see is shaped by your perception, not the true nature of the object." Understanding that each person's beliefs are nurtured by unique circumstances allows us to open our hearts instead of rushing to judgment. To break down these invisible walls, open dialogue, tolerance, and mutual respect are essential. As Epictetus said, "Do not expect others to think like you. Instead, learn why they think as they do. Understanding not only helps us avoid resentment, but also enriches our worldview. Accepting that differences are a natural part of life and that no two people are exactly alike lays the foundation for a harmonious, diverse, and peaceful society. On the journey of understanding the 9 hidden reasons behind hatred, this video is not merely a wake-up call, but an invitation to growth and understanding. Instead of drowning in negative emotions when faced with hatred, let the phonology of Stoicism guide you, illuminating the path to inner peace. Stoicism does not promise a perfect life, where everyone loves and praises us. Instead, it grants us the strength to confront life's imperfections and paradoxes, including those beyond our control, such as the emotions and thoughts of others. Remember, being disliked is not always your fault. Differences in perspectives, lifestyles, or even simple misunderstandings can lead to unintended animosity. Rather than blaming yourself, focus on self-improvement, staying true to your core values, and spreading positivity to the world around you. Accepting imperfections, both yours and others, and letting go of unrealistic expectations are the keys to freeing your mind from the grip of negative emotions. When you learn to love and value yourself, live with an open heart and a resilient spirit, hatred and envy will gradually dissipate, making way for peace and genuine freedom. This journey may be challenging, but with perseverance and courage, you can overcome these trials and reach a state of balance in your soul, where happiness is no longer dependent on others' judgments. True self-worth is not measured by how many people admire you, but by the steadfastness of your mind and the ability to live fully as yourself. To conclude, let us borrow the words of Marcus Aurelius, the renowned Stoic philosopher. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let Stoicism be your compass, guiding you on the path to true happiness. Happiness rooted in inner freedom, resilience, and the strength to weather life's storms.